We made it. We made it. Thank you for your patience. Definitely had some technical difficulties. There was no volume. There was no volume. So let's see. What do we got here? I'm just checking. Waiting for Katya. Yes. Okay, well, I'm here. I'm hoping that you can see. And we're just going to get started. Welcome, guys. Happy 888 Stargate. My God, I remember back in the beginning of this year talking about this moment. Everything that we were going through was leading up to this beautiful 8-8 portal that was going to be happening. Technically an 888 portal because it is August, which is an 8 month. It is the 8th day, and it is also an 8 year. Very, very significant and very monumental. So we've arrived. And I don't know about you, but if you are like most of us, it's been a doozy of a week. We came out of this beautiful Leo new moon, super potent, and all through the week there have been spikes in Schumann resonance that have been, interestingly, taking place just around midnight, right after midnight on almost every single day leading up to this. There's no coincidence. We are being primed energetically in the most beautiful way to literally open up to what the energies of this particular point in time on our journey, the 888 portal, have to offer. And so if you're here, you've arrived, you made it. Thank you. And I'm glad that you have. We've all, whether we're aware of it or not, have been waiting for this moment in some regards. And it is a turning point for us. It's really a point when, again, another pivot point where we're going to be letting go even more deeply of things that we have perhaps been holding on to, things that have maybe served us up till now, even missions, you could say, that we have been following, pursuing, and moving towards, and maybe full on involved in, that those are now shifting. A lot of people you may have found are relocating. People are shifting out of relationships, taking on new responsibilities, letting go of old responsibilities. I'd love to know in the chat how this has been for you. Are you noticing these kinds of shifts? We certainly are. As you know, you've heard me talk about in the past, in the last few updates that we've had. There's a lot changing in our world. And there's a lot changing, I know, for a lot of the people that at least we are connected with, but I know it's not just the people that we're connected with. This is a global theme. And the reason is, at a soul level, we're all being brought into new positions. Where do you need to be? Literally, where you need to be located. Are you feeling a call to move? This is probably why. Who do you need to be associating with? Are there relationships that are sort of maybe pulling apart, kind of feeling strained, and you're feeling less inspired to spend as much time with those individuals? Part of that is why, right? When you're being called to new coordinates, everything in your world has to readjust and change to meet that. And so that's what this time is very much known for. It's kind of indicative of, is that this is a turning point. It's a point of new, not new trajectory. It's when the new trajectory starts, but it's that impetus point. So just know that if you're feeling a little unstable, if you're feeling like there's a lot of chaos happening around you, this is why, because things are being stirred up so that there's a lot more movement. And particularly, if we have not been in the mode of going with the flow of what is moving, turbulence feels worse when you're digging your heels in, right? Imagine yourself by the wavy ocean. When you get in, if you're riding the waves, what are you doing? You're flowing with the energy of the current, basically. But if you are digging your heels in, dragging your feet, being like the anchor, it's not a comfortable ride. The anchor's usually pretty good. It's grounded and locked in, but it's everything above the anchor that's holding onto the anchor that feels like it's being ripped apart. And so for a lot of us, that's kind of what it's feeling like. So where are you? I'd love to know. Feel free to drop a note in the chat. But I do want to share some information with you and sort of share a little bit about what we're experiencing right now. And then I do want to get into an activation meditation. One of the things I was super invited into and really felt the call was to bring us into a place of a unified mind and heart, and really cohere our energies to collectively receive what this day has to offer. There's a lot of encodements, a lot of higher light that is floating through and in and within and around us and everything in our space today, and really days leading up to this. And the more we are open, the more we are lightened, the more we're able to receive and notice that moving into the days ahead, things just feel a little bit easier. Anybody else interested in a little bit easier? Yeah, I'm all for that. Okay, let's see where we are. Beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about this. So the number 8. So what I really enjoy doing is tying together or connecting some of the dots to do with numerology, a little bit of astrology, and then also psychology and the ego mind and the soul's perspective and the soul path, and just tying that stuff together, because it's what's happening in all these different areas is very much connected and ends up making a lot of sense when we look back at something that feels like just one big mess. When you understand the influences of the energies of all these aspects, it kind of makes a little more sense and helps us to kind of feel like, all right, there's a purpose to this mayhem. So when you're looking just at the number 8 itself, so from numerological perspective, 8 is very symbolic of a lot of things that I think many of us are ready and willing to open up to. So the 8 is representative of things like, first and foremost, it's known for abundance, prosperity, infinity. You turn an 8 on its side and it's the infinity symbol, right? How about infinite abundance? If you were to sum up what 8 represents in many ways, infinite abundance is what comes forward within me. Now, when you look at what your true divine nature is, what is your true, authentic nature? Your spiritual identity? It's infinite abundance. Abundance of all things. Abundance of ease, of health, of joy, of money, of time, of all things that make up the human experience and beyond. So the number 8 is symbolic of many of those things. It's also known as a power number for success, reaching goals, achievement, acknowledgement for the things that you have accomplished. So it's a very powerful number. And so with numerology, when one number is present, it has the energetics of that. But when you add a second number, so it's a double or a triple, it's just amplifying and amplifying. So when we're looking at today, the 888s of this date really amplify all the energetics of what 8 actually represents. Not to mention that it's just part of a grander cosmic alignment that is tied into a very pivotal point in our evolutionary journey. So it's big. It's big. Now, I mentioned the Schumann frequencies. I'm going to just mention it again. If you've been noticing sleep disruptions, having nights perhaps where you didn't need hardly any sleep, and then suddenly now filled with a few days where you're sleeping solidly like a rock. Brian, my partner, he wears a sleep ring, like not a sleep ring, but it's a ring that tracks all kinds of different things that are going on in your body. And it's been fun because we've been actually able to notice that some of these days he's getting deep sleep, and it's right on those same days when the sleep is longer, and then these other days where it's just like you're turned on, switched on, you just don't need the same kind of sleep. That's the kind of stuff we're playing with right now. So don't necessarily assume that there's something wrong with you or you're experiencing something biologically that you should be concerned about. Of course, always check with your doctor if you feel inclined, but there is so much happening at the energetic level that is playing with our sleep right now, and these spikes taking place in the middle of the night can be a bit disruptive. All right, let's look at this. Okay, if you've been noticing the kinds of confronting situations that are unfolding in your life, I know that I'm seeing this with people around me. I'm talking to a lot of clients that are feeling the word some of them use is crunchy or just chaotic. This is part and parcel for what we're moving into and has played a very important role in moving us into the time we're at right now. Again, we talked right about this need to stir the pot, to shake things up, to loosen things, to make us more receptive to what is to come. And what else is really helpful when you are shaken up? Would you say you're more movable, you're more flexible, you're more willing to maybe take movement in a direction? 100%. So that is part of it as well. Made a few notes because I don't want to miss some of the things that came forward to be offered today. All right, so when you're feeling those pressure points, when you're feeling like you're in a container that's like, my God, how do I get out of this? You'll notice, I think the last update we had, we were talking about a square that was present. The energy of that is still kind of lingering, where it's feeling like you just can't really get away from it. But I'd love to know, are you noticing a difference between where you were perhaps last week in feeling that kind of locked into position with the square that was present and feeling almost like trapped, but not in a desperate way, but just kind of like there's no escaping this? Where are you feeling with that now? Have you noticed a shift? I think many of us have. That there is a, let me see here. No, I can't seem to make these the comments live, but that's okay. Where you have probably ended up, and if you're not there yet, you will get there, is the feeling of like, okay, almost like a surrender into whatever's unfolding. Like, okay, I can't get away from this, so I'm just going to ride it through. Are you noticing more of an ease and more of a resolve in just being willing to move through something that maybe before felt scary, or felt like, oh my God, this is the last thing that I ever wanted to imagine dealing with, and yet it's right here? You guys relate to that? Yeah, totally. What you'll also notice, and I've been seeing this with client sessions, it's so brilliant, is it's a revival of old programming. Stuff that is not necessarily new. So if you haven't noticed this, I'm going to encourage you to take a look at whatever it is that you're facing, whatever it is that you're kind of dealing with, the things that you would say, these are not my favorite parts of my life right now, the things that are showing up. Stop and look and see, okay, what are they bringing up in me? It's less about the way the drama is unfolding, but what is it bringing up in you? And maybe there are themes in the actual circumstances. Notice what the themes are. Pay attention and notice, and you will find that there is a commonality between what you're experiencing now and what you have in the past. It's most likely nothing new. Would you agree? If you've thought about it already, let me know. But you'll notice that it is. This should make you feel a bit better. Why? Because this is the opportunity you're being given to finally be done with it. So you couple the resurgence of this really heavy, icky, I don't want to deal with this, but I really don't have any way around it. The confrontation of things that must be dealt with, must be resolved. It's like move out day. Hey Joey, welcome brother. It's like move out day, right? You can't avoid it. When you've got a scheduled move and you are moving out, you bought a house or you're moving into a new place, you're renting, it doesn't matter. When it's moving day and you've got other people moving in, you're moving out, you can't get around it. You have to move. And you have to take your things with you, right? One way or the other, either you're going to take them with you or someone's going to take them out of the house for you. So it's either flow or force, right? Let's see. Oh, Joey says, yes, the energy this week seems more free and workable. Yeah, right? The stuff is still there. It's not necessarily like like the situations have dissolved, but it's how we are responding to them. It's kind of like you've climatized to it. Joey says, lots of turbulence that feels like it's here to set me free. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful observation. And that's what it is doing, 100%. Thank you for sharing, Joey. And what do we say here? Okay. Move out days, the perfect. Yeah, I'm glad you can relate to that too. That's literally what it feels like. Yeah, and it's like, what's the better way to move out? Kind of like just saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm packing up. We're getting good. We're just moving our stuff out and keep plodding along, knowing that eventually the day will end. You will be moved out and you will be in the new place. And you may not be fully settled, but you'll be in the new place, right? And there may be pizza and pop or something, right? Maybe. Amazing. Okay. Layla, I tuned in a bit late. Beautiful to have you here, sister. Thank you for coming. Are these recent energies having an effect on motivation levels? 100%. The last couple weeks, I felt so lazy and unmotivated. Thank you for sharing that, Layla. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. In fact, it's interesting. So the week before this one that we've just literally ridden through was a little more energetic. And before that, we were really in a period of immense drive. It was the cosmic alignments at play were making us feel like we just want to get stuff done, get it done. There was a focused energy. There was energy behind us. And like, yeah, there was just a lot more fuel. Whereas now, and also there was a lot of challenging stuff that we were being dealt with, right? And this tends to come in waves. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this before, but it's kind of like a sine wave pattern where we kind of hit peaks and it's like flow, fast. And then it kind of feels like we sometimes it feels like you crash. Other times it feels like you just kind of gently settle and go inward. And so this was also a new moon period that we just recently moved through, which naturally kind of makes us want to go inward. There was also a retrograde, a Mercury retrograde, that just recently started as well. But there's been a lot of different cosmic things at play that have been making it feel like, I gotta just slow down. And so the mind often tells us, I'm feeling lazy, I'm unmotivated, and as if that's a bad thing. But what we're often doing is just riding these cycles, riding a wave of an energetic current that is influencing how we feel. And because we are tied into and connected and one with the celestial bodies, the earthly body, we are feeling the cycle as it manifests in our reality because it is part of who we are. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that answers it for you, but you're 100% correct, and beautiful that you have noticed it. And it's interesting. What you'll probably find, let me know if this is true for you, Layla, and for anybody else. Have you noticed that if you give into and you don't beat yourself up about being or feeling less motivated, perhaps, to get stuff done, that when certain things didn't get done, you discovered it wasn't the end of the world, right? That's the beauty of going with a cycle, flowing with the pattern or the cycle that's unfolding at a time. Because when it's a time where the energies are present to make it feel like it is okay to relax, or you just want to relax and you let yourself relax, you'll notice that things unfold in a way where the act of you relaxing didn't slow down anything. It just gave you a beautiful container to sink into. Does that make sense? Ah, good, beautiful. I'm glad that was helpful. Yeah, it's important to recognize that, and just also, Layla, I'll encourage you, and this is for everybody, and I'll remind myself, is that whenever your mind is trying to give you a hard time about what you may not be doing, or how you may not be feeling as energized, or whatever the case may be. Slow down and just tune into your body. What is your body telling you? And like what you're describing, Layla, I get the sense that your body was saying, you know what, Layla? Let's just chill out. Let's just relax with a book. Let's just curl up under the covers and stay a few minutes longer. Right? There's definitely a fine line, and it's a bit of an art, really, to discern between what is an actual signal for you to follow and just go with what is presenting energetically within you and in your whole energetic environment, right? And when the mind gets involved and it's trying to avoid something, so there's programming behind it, like, oh, I want to procrastinate, or oh, I want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to put this off till later. Oh God, I'm dreading that. There's a difference. But if you tune in, you kind of get quiet, you can tell the difference, right? Like your whole body kind of gets into, when you're feeling a little bit like, almost like run down. You just feel like you just want to slow down and let the rest of the world go by. That's your indication, more of like a physical experience. Like, I'm just feeling like I need a break. I want to relax my body, as opposed to, I don't want to do that thing, so I'm going to avoid it and maybe do this other thing and watch a movie or read a book because I'm avoiding that. These kinds of things that we're talking about, that you're bringing up, Layla, is less about avoiding and more like just feeling like I just don't have it in me to do that thing. So it's less mental and it's more of a full physical experience. I hope that helps. Okay. So this time we've been moving through this week has actually been one of those times where the energy's been supporting us to kind of cocoon a bit, not having to put ourselves out there full center stage, full steam ahead. It's not that phase. And a big reason is because we are in the middle of receiving so much in the way of upgraded coding, light, energetics, and the biology needs time to integrate. It looks different for many people, but there are themes around it. And some of that is periods where you go through some peaks and some valleys in terms of your feeling inspired and motivated, taking care of action, and then having moments where you're just like, wherever you are is fine. Just use it as a way to kind of learn what your body is telling you. And you'll start to have a lot of fun with these cycles and be able to, like, oh yeah, this is really a time when I can just give myself a break and kick my feet up. Or this is a time when I'm avoiding. Let me just get off my butt and stop putting this off. And let me, in a sense, wrestle my mind, take control of what my lower mind is trying to do, and be the one that shifts out of this programmed behavior and actually does the thing that I am being called to do but haven't been able to because my mind is giving me a hard time. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Okay, guys. So one of the things that I did want to share, when you're feeling any of these kind of challenging moments, turbulent moments, a few things to do just quickly. A reminder, as you probably heard some of these before, just stop and breathe. Just take a breath. So when the lower mind is active, when the fears come up, the judgments come up, the insecurities, whatever it is that is coming up, that is that narrative inside the mind, one of the ways to stop and slow that down or stop it completely is to turn to your breath. A slow, steady breath actually short circuits the ego mind enough that you can usually find yourself coming back into peace. So number one, turn to your breath. Okay. Number two, choose to be a little more open. As you breathe, you'll notice that you may be constricted. Just slow down, take those breaths. I recommend 3 to 5 slow breaths in and out. Like that's one. You do that 3 times in a row, your state changes. Do that. And then look back at what it was that was activating you, making your mind race with worry or fear or concern or whatever it may be, and look at it now through fresh eyes. And as we talked about last week, ask the question, how would my higher self see this? And then shift into appreciation. That combination will put you in such a better position. You will no longer be racing and running and lost in the ego program, feeling anxious or feeling unsettled. You will now, once again, tap back into your place of grounded centeredness and where your true power is. Okay? An appreciation for what's happening, because what Joey mentioned previously, right? Let me see if this is the one. Is that the turbulence is here to set you free. And so that's what we want to be appreciative of. Even if you don't understand it fully, that's the essence of the energy, the perspective you want to take. Is, okay, this is here to serve me. I don't need to know how. I don't need to know the details. I just know that it is. So I'm going to open to it and be willing to ride through this, knowing that this is all working out for my best. Guaranteed, no question. That will set the tone for you to have greater peace and actually allow things that are in a higher trajectory, higher timeline, higher bandwidth of frequency to begin to unfold and materialize for you in your quantum reality, which is what this all is. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, now when I was tuning into what to bring forward, what wanted to come forward, what I was being asked to bring today, immediately, and this was before I asked, I was presented, there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. So wherever you may be feeling a little bit of fear in your world, maybe it's around money, maybe it's around where am I going to live, maybe it's around what's going to happen with my relationship, keep this with you. This is part of the abundance key that we were talking about earlier, this 8 energy. There's always more than enough. Everything is working out for you. Because of that, you have nothing to fear. Don't listen to what your mind tries to convince you of. It is telling you lies, trying to get you to be the lie in physical form, B-L-I-E-V-E, right? You don't need to fall for it. One of the strongest messages that we are being given at this time is that we are the powerful creators that we have always dreamed and wished and hoped that we could be. The reality is that is who you are right now. That is what you already have access to. And there is nothing standing in the way of you stepping into that fully, especially now. So the energy of this portal, the 888, is an invitation for you to step into your true mastery. Not all at once. You don't have to do it all at once. But it's an invitation for you to step into who you truly are and to know or to remember that there is nothing that you cannot do or be. If it is a true heart-born desire, and I say heart-born because the heart is the seat of the soul. It is the chakra that the soul communicates through. And so if it is a desire that is at a soul level, expressing through you, there is nothing standing in the way of that, except the fears behind the ego lies that it is telling you that you can't for one reason or the other. This is the time when all of that begins to get washed away. We've been working on this, playing with these things for a long time, yes. But this turning point is about igniting within you a bigger flame, a bigger belief, going beyond belief into a knowing that that is who you came to be. And that there is nothing standing in the way of you becoming that highest, most empowered expression of yourself. I'm not saying empowered from the ego sense. Empowered meaning the embodied expression of who you really are as a creator through and through. Do you guys believe that yet? Let me know. How does that land with you? If it doesn't totally land yet, it doesn't matter. That is what this point in time is bringing us into. Let's see. Layla. Tammy says 100%. Beautiful. Beautiful. And again, even if you're not 100% yet, it doesn't matter. You are going to, everybody at their own pace, we are going to be moving into greater and greater knowing of this, which with every single day, week, and month that passes as we move through this beautiful portal. Let's see. Joey says, land solid and true. Yeah. It's exciting, isn't it? So what if there was nothing that you could not become, that you could not do of those heart-born desires that you hold? How does that feel? How does that feel? Let me know. This is what we're going to play with in our meditation today. In the activation, we are going to venture into this landscape of the true expression, that powerful creator that you are. And really allow yourself to swim in that. Because the more you do, the more we are attuning your frequency to your true home frequency, which is the true feeling of what it is to be you in physical form as your spiritual self embodied on this planet, to play with the material realm, with the power and the vision and the knowing of your spiritual self. My God, literally, my God, it doesn't get much better. It doesn't. That's why there are lineups to be here. That's why there are lineups. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. I think we've covered enough. There's other things here, but I think we've covered enough. What I will say, though, one last thing before we jump into this is we are in this transitionary place, much like a coal, a piece of coal requires immense pressure over a long period of time to become a diamond. What is coal? Coal is carbon-based, right? Yes, our whole planet is carbon-based to some degree. But we are moving from carbon to crystalline. And we need immense pressure to do the same thing. We need it just like a piece of coal does. There's no coincidence that that analogy exists and that it's actually based in such literal truth. You are going from a carbon blueprint into your true crystalline blueprinting. And this life experience is granting you the pressure that's needed to cause that transformation, that literal transmutation of you, not just energetically, but biologically, to create lightness out of density. So I applaud you. Pat yourself on the back and just know that things are incredible and are about to get even better. You are a diamond. And you shine and sparkle with uniqueness and brilliance. And that light within you, that shine, it's more than a shine. That radiance, that illumination is coming from within, and it's growing and growing and growing. May you enjoy this ride and remember that this is what's required, that you picked in order to bring yourself from carbon, coal-based into the diamond mind that you are, into this brilliant expression of God that you are, playing here with all the rest of us on this glorious planet. Okay. All right, let's do this. So, wherever you are, just find a comfortable place, and we're going to just take a few minutes to sink into this energy. Okay. I have my dog here. You can see him in the background. He's snoring. Hopefully you can't hear him too loudly. All right. I'll start by taking a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. Pulling your energy inwards. Pulling your energy towards your spine. Seeing your spine as a central column of light. And the more energy you pull towards your spine, the more it becomes illuminated. Bring that light all the way down to the tip of your tailbone, your root chakra. And bring that light all the way up to the center of your brain, where you see a tiny white golden light. At the center of your brain, and at the center of that light is a diamond. See it sparkle, and allow that sparkle to grow in size and intensity. Now bring that sparkle, and just like a sparkler when you were a kid, bring that sparkle and attach it to a sparkler that you hold in your hand. And now trace that light, that sparkle, around your brain, down your spine, fully activating the cerebral spinal fluid throughout your body. This brilliant, divine liquid light that contains your God essence, your true radiance. And now let it bleed into your blood. So that all these sacred fluids are full of this sparkle. And now bring the image of that diamond out from inside your brain into the space in front of your eyes. See the beautiful diamond light there. And now superimpose over that sparkling diamond a golden number 8. Notice the sheen of that 8 in solid gold. Now bring a second 8 into this image. Both of them the most beautiful golden sheen that you have ever seen. And now introduce a third 8, a golden 8, holding this image in your mind's eye as you see it right in front of you. Now, using your own imagination, bring the sparkle of the diamond into the 8s in a golden white light. What do you see? Now, as you hold this image in your mind's eye, you notice that the space around you, the plasma that makes up the space between matter, as well as matter itself, is made of gold. That everything is made from this same material that shimmers, that's gold. It's everywhere. As you breathe it in. And as you breathe it in, it energizes and nourishes you. And as you breathe it out, it's like one continuous flow. Like being in the womb. Breathing in and breathing out this golden light, this golden plasma, until it becomes you. Feel yourself and see yourself as this golden liquid substance, radiating this frequency of gold, this purity of gold, the higher consciousness that is symbolized by this gold. And now as you again turn your gaze to the 3 8s in gold in front of your eyes that have taken on this sparkle of the diamond, see every single one of your trillions of cells, all seeing the same image in their mind's eye. And notice how this feels. to have every single aspect of you in unison, feeling this frequency, seeing this image, being this expression. Now I'm going to say a few words and you can adopt them as your own if you like, to just bring us into remembrance of who we are and what we are doing together on this glorious journey. There is nothing to fear. Everything that I'm experiencing is arriving right on time, in just the right ways, to help me expand out of old ways of being and into a truer, crystalline, diamond-Christed mind expression of my true identity. I don't need to know all the details. I can just relax into the knowing that despite what it might look like, despite what my mind may try to tell me, I'm right on time. In fact, I always have more than enough time. And it feels good for me to open up to that idea more. That things are always shifting and adjusting to make sure that there is just enough time for things to unfold exactly as they need to, for me to have the most powerful and positive experience. And I like the way that feels. I like knowing that I don't have to get everything perfect. I like knowing that I can be myself. I like knowing that everyone I'm playing with is going through the same kind of experience, but in their own way. And I like knowing that I'm not in this alone, but that we're all in this together, and in fact, we actually have more in common than we may realize. I like knowing that. And I like knowing that whatever I'm ready for next is what's going to show up. And that sometimes it's going to show up looking like a challenge, and sometimes it's going to show up looking like a gift, but an obvious gift. And I like also knowing that even the things that don't look like gifts are incredible gifts, tailor-made for me to reach new levels of my own potential and my own expression, to be more of who I really am, to feel even better in my own skin, to feel comfortable with myself exactly as I am, and to be excited for who I'm becoming and for what I'm about to create. I like knowing that I came here to create. I like knowing that there's no limits to what I can create, and that this life is not about creating the same thing over and over, or even staying the course of one type of creation, but that my creations are going to change, and that I can have as much variety as I like. And there's nothing wrong with wanting something different, wanting something more. And that when I feel that inkling, that curiosity or that desire building within me, that I can get excited because it means change is coming, and that change means good things for me. I'm willing to let go a little bit of the reins and not feel like I have to be so much deliberately driving everything. I'm going to start to play with the idea that maybe this next chapter is all about loosening my grip on the steering wheel, about reclining the seat just a bit, getting a little more comfortable, and being open to different paths showing up. I'm going to feel into that. And lastly, I'm going to feel into and start to open up to playing more with the idea that there is more than enough of everything that I could possibly want, that I could possibly need, and that I have full access to whatever I need whenever I need it. In this moment, on this day of infinite abundance, I'm going to open up more to this idea of abundance at an infinite scale. And right now, soak in and sink in to the feeling and the experience of having more than enough of everything. What does that feel like for you? Allow yourself to feel the ease of that, the expansion, the power of that, and the grace of that. Notice the images that come up in your mind's eye. And what does it feel like to have more than enough of everything right now? It's here. Overflowing with goodness. It's here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much abundance and love. And the more you give freely, the more comes back. The more you share, the more you illuminate. It creates this cascade, a cascading torus of abundance. Like the breath, breathing it in, breathing it out. There is no end. Feel that in your body. What does it look like? Breathing in this gold. Breathing it in and breathing it out. And allowing it to flow freely through the heart space. see yourself in this knowing. In this reality. Breathe deeply. And when you're ready, you can begin to bring yourself back. If you'd like to stay there longer, you can. Feel free to jump off or stay. Just start to bring yourself back when you're ready. Take a few more breaths in and out. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Some of you jumped off, which is great. If you want to stay in that energy and not be interrupted, please go ahead. If you'd like to share anything about your experience, feel free. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you for joining us today on this very special day. It's been a gift to spend these moments together. I appreciate you and love you dearly. And now, just go out and enjoy the rest of your day. And come back to this feeling. Come back to this essence of you. If it supports you, watch this again. Listen to this again. Tap back into this frequency that we just were swimming in. Oh, Joey. Thank you, brother, for bringing your powerful presence. It's an honor to share this container with you. Thank you. Me as well. Tammy, super amazing. Yay. Well, we are all in this together, and all of your aspects are with you and with us, and we created a beautiful group avatar. My God, the energy was palpable. Is. I'm still swimming in it. Yeah, right? What more is coming? We are entering a really magical time. This 2024, moving into 2025, 2024 is a big year of integrating this organic template of third dimensional Earth. It's not all about just 5D. There is an organic template in the 3D that is magnificent. That's the closest thing that we can relate to as humans at this time, for most of us. And we are swimming in that. And there is more to come. Yeah, onwards and upwards. Okay, my loves, with that, thank you. Enjoy this beautiful day. If you are inside our community and Elevate on School, feel free to pop in and share anything that comes forward for you. And if not, that's good too. It's been an honor to be here with you. I so loved our time together, and I look forward to the next one.